back to the GLVC Sports Network and its coverage of the 2019 GLVC Football Kickoff. Our next segment today features the GLVC Commissioner Jim Naumovich and the GLVC Supervisor of Football Officials, Mike McCann. Commissioner Naumovich and Mike, thank you for joining us today. Give us a quick look back at the GLVC 7th season in football. We just talked with you, Indiana Greyhounds, and they continue to represent the GLVC in Division II play. But we saw impressive outings by Missouri S&T in the Mineral Water Bowl.
Yeah, it was an outstanding season for the GLVC last year. As you mentioned, University of Indianapolis advanced to the NCAA Division II playoffs, got a first-round win at home at Key Stadium, and then I had the opportunity to head out to Mineral Springs, Missouri, for the Mineral Water Bowl that Missouri S&T competed in, and they gave an outstanding performance, and I know it was really a great experience for the team, for the school, for the alumni, and I'd be remiss, especially with Mike sitting up here with me, that our postseason success also continued on with our officiating crew, as we had a GLVC officiating crew working the NCAA Division II National Championship game. So it was a memorable postseason for the entire league, from players, coaches, as well as our officials.
Conference has some big news this year with getting the addition of Lindenwood and Southwest Baptist University as full-time members. Obviously, we've had SBU as a football member over the last 4 years, but bringing another football-playing member in Lindenwood to the conference has to be tremendous strides. Yeah,
we're very excited to welcome the Lions and their program here. You know, it's as we enter into the 2019 season, it's the 150th anniversary of college football. So we're still a fledgling Division II league, but certainly when you add a program like Lindenwood and the facilities and the commitment to the sport there, we're excited to be for our student athletes to have a chance to compete in St. Charles and to welcome the Lindenwood student athletes around the league. And then, you know, Southwest Baptist has been a very good associate member in the league for the past few years, and it's always been, I know, their goal from their administration, if there was an opportunity to become a full-fledged member, that was something they wanted to pursue, and that came to fruition last year. So as you mentioned, they will become a full member and compete in all sports during the 2019-20 academic year. So yeah, it's going to be another exciting season for GLVC football this coming fall.
Mike, thank you for being here. We know that there's still a lot of emphasis on the officials, especially when it comes to targeting and sideline demeanor. Give us a look at some of the things that the officials will be looking at other than those two things.
Well, the only rules change for this year is last year you weren't allowed to have a three-man wedge on a free kick. They've dropped that down to a two-man wedge now. So we'll be looking for that. But, you know, you talk about sideline demeanor. That's one of the great things about officiating the Great Lakes Valley Conference is there's no issues with our sidelines. We have fantastic coaches, good players. Players are well coached. They understand their role. Coaches understand their role on the sideline. They coach. We officiate. There's really no issues with sportsmanship in the GLVC. As far as on the field goes, player safety is always the utmost thing that we stress. We talked a little bit about that with the coaches this morning. But again, you've got coaches that want to do nothing other than develop young men into outstanding citizens once they leave their institutions. And we're just excited for the season to get here. Can never get here soon.
It's here now as we get started with today. Jim, another big announcement for the GLVC football is the creation of the America Crossroads Bowl, which will have another GLVC school squaring off against one of the Great Midwest Athletic Conference, or GMAC, top teams. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, this has been a topic of discussion with our coaches the last few years. We were looking for an opportunity to expand the postseason experience for our student athletes. We've been very, very fortunate to have a team advance to the NCAA Division II playoffs, but we were looking for perhaps another opportunity. So very fortunate that Commissioner Tom Dager was agreeable, was amenable, that the GMAC also had an interest in pursuing a postseason opportunity. And so we came across a gentleman by the name of Rick Fletka, who you're going to be speaking with after Mike and I, from the Indiana South Shore Convention and Visitors Authority up in the region in northwest Indiana. And so we're going to be playing the America Crossroads Bowl game in Hobart, Indiana on December the 7th. It'll be the top-ranked team in the GLVC that does not qualify for the NCAA Division II playoffs will be our conference representative, and we think we're going to be able to offer that particular team a great experience, and I think also equally as important is it doesn't look like it's going to be a financial burden on whatever two schools are chosen to participate in it. So we're really excited that we're going to be able to provide another postseason opportunity above and beyond the NCAA Division II championship.
We've spent the entire day talking about football, and we've talked about tremendous news within the conference, but we can't not bring this up, in which the fact that GLVC will sponsor 2 new sports this year in women's lacrosse and women's bowling, and that brings the league sports total to 24 now. 2 more championships to hand out.
Yeah, have you talked to Jeff and Tanya and Lindsay about that, and yourself as well? Because don't think you're not getting out of any of those. We'll be streaming both of those championships, so don't think you're getting out of that. Yeah, we're excited. While we've been down here in Lebanon, we actually did a site visit to the bowling alley in Belleville, Illinois, at Bel Air Bowl. That's really an interesting sport. Talking to the McKendree coaches and being a novice, to hear about the science that's involved with bowling. So we're excited. We have 7 schools in the league that sponsor women's bowling to provide them a home. And then we'll also have a 7-team women's lacrosse league that will also kick off this year and provide a home for those student athletes. It's going to be an interesting, April 24th and 26th, on that weekend, we'll host men's lacrosse, men's tennis, women's tennis, and women's golf all on the same weekend. So it'll be a conquer and divide, or divide and conquer rather, with the GLVC staff. So we're going to be leaning heavily on our member schools. We told our sports information directors yesterday during their meetings, be prepared, because especially that weekend, there's going to be help. But we're always happy and look forward to hosting championship events when we're able to bring on new sports.
But you got 20% of those handed out in a 7-day stretch.
True. That's also a good deal as well.
Mike and Jim, thank you so much for joining us here on GLVCSN. And fans, after this short break, we'll welcome in our final guest of the day, which will be the representatives from the America's Crossroads Bowl. You're watching the 2019 GLVC football kickoff here on the GLVC Sports Network.